to Broadcast with Amanda, Shandy, and Colleen. My name is Colleen.
My name is Amanda.
And I'm Shandy.
Welcome to the show, everybody. This is Season 3, Episode 31, episode number 121. How's it going?
Good.
Dandy.
On this fine Tuesday evening.
That's right.
To keep reminding myself what day it is. It's like, I don't know if you guys both had yesterday off, but apparently not everybody gets President's Day off. I just thought it was, I've always had it off, so I just thought it was like a thing.
I didn't get it off.
Yeah, most of my friends didn't. I'm really surprised. My entire career, I've always had President's Day off.
You're super lucky.
I guess so.
I had it off as well, and it was very appreciated.
Same, but it just throws me off. It's like then I can't keep the rest of the week straight in terms of like what day it is, and I get all sorts of like discombobulated.
That does happen on 3-day weekends.
Yes.
I wish that it would happen to me, but this week. But alas, I've had actually just this really weird off day. Like from the time I woke up till now, I've just had this like weird energy thing going on. Like at work, I couldn't sit still. At one point, I was like doing work standing up for no reason. Like I felt like really jittery. Trying to think what else. Like I just had this like weird. Like I started, and I was so stressed out because I started so many things today, and then didn't finish like half of them. Like I would start an email like responding to somebody, and then I would go back to it like 2 hours later and be like, you probably should have responded to this, or just whatever different things that I do throughout the day. Like I felt like I had so many things started and like nothing actually done. And then Alex is still sick, so I had to go pick him up and drop him off at the house with Jay during the day. So I felt like that kind of threw me off too. And I don't know. I feel like I've got just this like weird, I don't know, like, and so many things like seem to keep going like wrong today. Like, I did this like big thing at work on Friday, and I couldn't, like, our website was being all funky, and like I just had some trouble. And then today my coworker pulled me aside and she was like, Colleen, I just wanted to let you know that you made a couple of mistakes with this thing. And I was like, oh my god, like the website wasn't working, so I kept hitting submit on the thing I was trying to do, and it processed it like 13 or 14 times.
Oh,
she
no,
had to go in and delete every single one. And that's what she was. So it wasn't like anything bad that I messed up, but she was like, I don't know how you did that. Like, what were you doing? Were you distracted? And I was like, no, I was mad at it. So I kept hitting it.
First you don't succeed, try again.
Exactly. But little did I know that the thing that I was trying to do, like, accepted it the first time, even though the site never like reloaded. So anyway, so then I was frustrated about that because I'd been so frustrated about that, at the end of the week. And then I was so happy when it was finally done. And then the Spreaker thing. So I don't know if anybody noticed, but for the past 2 weeks, all of the shows on the network, including ours, I think it first brought up with a Ramblecast because it was cutting into Nick's intro song that he sings. And what was happening was a minute into each show. So after the ad started, like your first minute of content, a random advertisement is popping up in the middle of these shows. And I thought that I had fixed it. And I listened to our show over the weekend. And I listened to our show because somebody else that I work with emailed me on Saturday to say that she listened to the show. And I was like, holy shit, now I've got to go back and make sure I didn't say anything embarrassing. And we'll totally get to that in a second. But I re-listened to it, and I didn't hear the ad go into it. So I thought that I had no idea the problem was still happening. And then I found out today that a lot of people were having the problem. And like I was just really frustrated. I ended up talking to Spreaker, where we get hosted on, and apparently we need to have a mid-roll advertisement in every show. In order for that to not happen, it's going to default to an advertisement like a minute in. So from here on out, we'll have to just put the 30-second ad in the middle at some point. Maybe we can go back to pee breaks like we used to do on our first season when we did the mid-roll ads. So we'll have to do that moving forward, and everybody is going to have to do that. But you won't have to skip in the beginning, and then I probably will stick the other ad on at the end of the thing in general, and we'll just see how that works. So be forewarned, you're going to have to skip past, or maybe you want to hear it, I don't know, a 30-second ad in the middle of the show. Okay, so anyway, That's the reason why you've had these random ads popping up, everyone, and I'm really, really sorry about it. So I was like super frustrated over that, and then there's other things that I was frustrated over all day. So long story short, here we are. We're like 5 minutes in, and all I've been doing is yakking about my bad day. I promise that I did not come on here with the intent to complain. Really, all I was going to complain about today was Jay eating my Ritz crackers, but here we are.
Well,
I liked the hiding spot.
Wasn't that a great hiding spot?
It was a really great hiding spot.
So,
But, you know.
this is the last thing, and then I'm going to shut up for a little while. In case anybody doesn't know, we have the Instagram account now, and it's at the Broadcasters 3. And last week, I was searching for a sleeve of Ritz crackers that I had hidden that I didn't want Jay and Zach to eat, and it was like the last sleeve of them. And I couldn't find where I'd freaking hidden them, and I did this live story post about how I couldn't find it, and I was upset. And then I went to get I had hid it in a box of Ziploc bags, and I went to get a Ziploc bag last night, and my hand landed upon the sleeve of crackers, and I was like, I found them! But then, of course, I put it in the Instagram feed. And
That's
Jay
how we found out?
you can't share your hiding place.
And then I was like,
Some
went to go
things have
get
to
them.
stay off the internet, like a hiding place for your snacks.
I know, but I meant to hide them someplace different. And
Yeah.
But yeah, then I went to go get them tonight, and I was like, they're not there anymore. And Jay was like, oh, were they in there? And I was like, yes. He's like, oh, then they got eaten. I was like, no!
It's like,
He
oh,
says
were they in
innocently.
there? I didn't notice. Crunch, 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 crunch.
Mm-hmm.
Were they really? Oh, bummer.
Anyways, cool. How has everybody else's week/weekend been? I am really sorry that I just came on and dragged the show down with my off day.
No, I think a lot of people have that. I know I certainly do, where you just feel pulled in a million directions and like you can't finish anything. And I think when I have those days, I stop everything and I finish one task. Like just one. It doesn't matter what it is. It can be like the low-hanging fruit and be a simple one, but just like it's this idea of like writing a ship that feels unwritable.
Yeah.
That you're just like sliding down the slide and you can't stop yourself, but it's like it's just that act of like sticking your legs out and like stopping yourself mid fall. I always find it helps me recenter and like not feel so frenzied and all over the place.
Gotcha.
I like that.
Yeah. I would, and I did it. Have every intention of trying to finish something. I mean, I have that monthly thing, that breakfast thing where I have to be at work at 7 a.m.
Say that monthly thing.
That monthly thing, yeah. Tomorrow morning. So I needed to walk out the door with everything for that. So that ended up being the last thing that I finished at like exactly the time that I was supposed to walk out the door. So I was like, well, I got one thing done, I guess.
Good. And did you feel better once you did it?
No.
Well,
I did.
Usually does it for me. That and a good walk around the office.
Yeah. I probably could have used a beer, but I'm in a no drinking week, so.
It's just Mad Men style. Put a bottle of whiskey in your desk.
Oh, please. So somebody else talk. What have you been up to?
Shandy, you talk.
Oh, first of all, before I forget, I want to give a shout out to Kyle. Bonjour, if you will. He's a friend who I just learned was listening to the podcast, and I remember talking about it with him like last August, I think.
Oh,
but I didn't realize that he actually was like listening. So, hey, Kyle, what up?
Hi, Kyle.
Nice.
Sayo.
What up?
Yeah. So that's exciting. There was a little bit of excitement in my life last week. I'm trying to remember which night. I think this was Thursday night, not too long ago. The weather here has been crazy, like it has in the rest of the country, but of course, like here, it's not like the snow and the negative 30 temperatures, but it's still like crazy wind and rain and cold for here. And one of the nights that we had all this crazy wind, my roommate woke me up in the middle of the night and was like, I think I heard somebody trying to get into the apartment. And so I'm like, you know, first thing's like, well, I'm calling the cops. Like, no questions asked. Like, I don't fucking care. Like, I'm not messing with that shit. Not okay. So we call and like they come over, and shout out to John. They were super, super nice. You know, I have my feelings about, you know, some police people, but I do have to say that my personal experiences with everyone in this town, all the police officers in this town, like I've never had any problems with them. They're always very, very nice. So these two super young police officers came over. They were really nice. They like looked around our apartment, looked outside, like where we thought it was coming from. And, you know, we just talked to them for a little while and then like felt a little bit better. And then after they left, it was like, you know, of course I don't have any firearms in my house because like I'm not for the guns. But I was like, oh,
Aren't? I had no idea.
Right. This is shocking and new information.
So you're not the one that said fuck the Second Amendment?
Yes. Okay. And those feelings remain the same. But I was like, oh shit, I have 2 canisters of bear spray from Montana to be used on fucking grizzly bears. So yes. So I got those out of my closet. I was like, just in case, like if this can make you feel better. It's like, but if you're not comfortable with it, like I can take it back and you know, I don't want like an object that's gonna freak you out. But anyway, so that was kind of funny. But I think really that it was just the wind. Like we kind of the next morning we like kind of debriefed about it, and I really do think that it was just the wind. And even for my own sanity, I need to tell myself that.
Yeah.
But the whole experience, I was just like, damn, you know, you think you hear something, it may have just been the wind, but you can just call these people who come over for free and check shit out and like, you know, maybe like make their presence known and like do a little ride around the block and whatnot. And all of these services are free. And I was just like, you know, the people who are against universal health care, I just want to shake them and be like, do you not realize this is the same thing? Because the thing is like, imagine how this whole scenario would have been if I had to think about like, okay, it's also windy tonight. It's possible it could have been the wind. So what if I call them? How much is it going to cost me for them to come over? And then if they look in the house, how much is that going to add to my bill? And if they find something, you know what I mean? Like,
that's
crazy,
really
right?
great. That's a really great analogy.
Yeah,
I would have never thought to like connect those 2 dots, but girl, you make a lot of sense. Yes, speak a lot of truth.
Thank you. Well, I was very, very thankful for our, you know, socialist police force. And so just, you know, shout out to my local cops. They were awesome. And knock on wood, I think it was just the wind. And if not, I motherfucking bear spray.
I will
here
not
I thought
hesitate.
we needed guns to protect us from bears.
Right.
Listen, guns don't kill bears.
God.
Bear spray kills bears. No, I have no idea.
No, but bear spray doesn't kill bears, right? It just like disables them. Is it like pepper spray?
It's like pepper spray on steroids, but it hopefully encourages them. I mean, like, knock on wood, again, I've never actually had to use it. I've never discharged my bear spray. There's like a safety on it. Like, it's hardcore shit. But yeah, the idea is that they would like decide that it's not worth it to go through the barrier in the air of bear spray and would maybe like retreat.
Well, you know what they say, Shandy. Don't pull out the canister of bear spray if you don't intend to use it.
That's the thing. It's like,
you should be able to practice, though. You know, so in a moment of crisis, you know how to.
I know how to get the safety off. I know I'm supposed to aim it. When we first acquired the bear spray for bears,
it's true. They have a bear spraying course where you can go like practice.
Not quite.
A bear spray range.
Oh my god!
Right? There's just like at the end, there's just like big wooden plats of like bears, like roar.
Oh my god!
You're supposed to aim it towards their like face, their eyes. So if they're standing on all fours, then you might have to aim down a little bit, depending on the height of the bear, etc. I mean, the thing is, like, if I ever did have to use it on, and I don't even like to imagine this, but like, if it was for like some sort of like self-protection thing at home, I think what would happen would be like all parties involved would just kind of feel the effects of being tear gassed. But I have the advantage of knowing the layout of the apartment.
That's true.
So
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
I also have the advantage of having been tear gassed before, so I could deal with it.
Well, that's a story.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I'm not certain we've ever talked about till this very moment
Yeah.
now.
This is news to me. Do
Just
tell.
elaborate, if you will.
Like, again, not like my default mode is not to be a sort of a fan of just cops in general, and this like extends internationally. Because when I was like maybe a junior in college, one night in France, we were leaving a concert. There's a big group of us. One of the people in the group was kind of a bit of making noise and being a little bit
Rowdy.
Loud and rowdy. Yes, rowdy is the word. But then all of a sudden the riot police showed up and like sort of like chased us a little bit, tear gassed.
One person?
Yeah, it was a little bit like a bit of an overreaction, I would say. That one person is kind of a little bit of a douche, but like bit of an overreaction. And like I got tear gassed in the process. Our friend's mom, who was like in her 40s at the time, and this like 5-foot woman, she got tear gassed in the process. It was ridiculous and insane.
Wow.
My God.
Yeah. French riot police, man. This was under Sarkozy. Or was it under Sarkozy? No, it was before him. What the hell? Anyway. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Wow. You badass, you.
Well, yeah.
Rabble rouser.
It was not fun, but so I can put that on my list of like if I play I Never.
Wow.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to do that during our live show this year. Never have I ever been tear gassed.
Right, seriously.
And I think it's probably going to be JP. Let's be honest.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Wow.
Well, all right. Shandy, you brought it.
Yeah, seriously.
I feel like, so I'm like mentally prepared. Like I know what to expect. Although I've never been
Bear gassed.
Bear tear gassed. No.
And you got to imagine it would be more potent because
it's like
bears.
Yeah,
Bears.
like they're substantially bigger than humans.
True.
So you would think. Yeah, you would think.
Well, hopefully you never have
I
to
was
use
just
your
going to
bear
say,
gas.
yeah, let's never find out.
But
And you need to
Bear
make
spray,
sure that,
whatever. Bear gas.
bear gas.
oh my God, you need to make sure that your cats are not in the room when you pull that shit out.
Oh,
That's
kitties.
true. That would probably seriously hurt them.
Yeah.
Oh, kitties. Yeah.
Yeah, don't
Yeah.
pull the bear gas out if you're not going to use it. Keep it locked away in a safe away from the kitties where they can't open it.
Right, with the safety on. Oh.
Man. All right. Amanda.
Yeah, well, on a much lighter note.
I'm like, I
this-
complained about everything. Shandy's like, my apartment almost got broken into. Please.
But it was the wind. It was the wind. We all agree it had to have been the wind.
Okay. Or a bear.
That's what we're saying.
Or a
That's what we're
bear.
saying. Or a bear. I'd be fine with either, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah, my weekend was much more tame. I went into Connecticut to surprise a friend who was in a community theater production. So a bunch of us went and sort of realized the week of that we hadn't told her we were coming. So just decided, well, this is going to be awesome. We'll surprise her. And we were like really close in this. It was this adorable old opera house in the center of this teeny tiny little podunk town in Connecticut. And like, just one of those beautiful old theaters. Like it must have been from like the 20s. And like the paint was kind of peeling, like the beautiful ornate paint was kind of peeling off the wall. And it was just like this really cool space. And we were like 3 or 4 rows back. So you could like see us clear as day.
That's awesome.
Like she comes out, she starts the show, like she is the very first line in the whole show.
What show was it?
And it's called the Great American Trailer Park Musical.
That sounds amazing.
It came out in like 2000-ish. So the world and how we looked at different sects of America, we had a different viewpoint at that point. So I'll leave that there.
Back up.
She was phenomenal. And apparently, like, as soon as she came out, before she even delivered her first line, she, like, saw us all in the front row.
Oh,
And then
I
had
love
to
it.
proceed and do the whole thing.
Oh my
And
god.
then intermission, we get this, like, text message. We all have, like, a text chain.
Yeah.
And she sent that, and she's like, "Are you guys freaking kidding me?"
Oh,
All in
so
caps.
cool.
So it was like, surprise, well done. But and if it could get any better, the almost even better part, this theater had this big old, like, calliope style organ.
Ooh,
It was like
Phantom of the Opera
huge.
style.
Yeah, it was like really, really cool. It had like all these levers and pulleys and like keys. And then like up on the walls on either side of the stage, it had like these slats that were connected to the organ. So like they would like flap open and you could see like cymbals and drums and stuff behind it. And they were all being powered by the organ.
That's amazing.
It was the coolest thing I've ever seen in my whole life.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I kind of wish I had taken a longer video and posted it because it really was the coolest thing I've ever
My God,
seen.
what an instrument! You played with your hands and your feet.
And your feet. You are a one-man band. It's everything. Even the wall. The wall is part of the instrument.
That's super cool. And yeah.
Yeah,
That's really
it was
cool.
It was amazing. If you ever get to go see a musical with an old-timey organ, just do yourself a favor and go do that.
Maybe you post a
Very
picture
cool.
in on our Instagram on Friday.
That's the thing. I didn't really take I didn't take a good picture.
Oh, not a good picture.
No, I did my 1 second a day, but that's
Yeah, that's too
horizontal, not
short.
vertical.
Oh, you can do horizontal now on Instagram.
I know, but it's it's not as profesh as they say. It's not optimal for viewer engagement. Because we are a professional podcast.
Yes, I'm posting videos of my very messy pantry, I think. Well, is the show still going or is it over?
It's last weekend.
Okay.
It's last weekend. So
See
Sunday
if-
was the last show.
See if your friend maybe has a picture of the organ.
I will see if I can find it. Yeah, I'll do a little digging. And if I can, I'll post it in the Instas.
Cool. Awesome. So I was mentioning before, and then totally move on, but another friend from work started listening to the show, somebody that I work with. So shout out to Carmen. And she sent me an email over the weekend, and it was really funny because I had forgotten that she had found out about the show in general. And much like with Rachel, when I had no idea that Jay had even told Rachel about the show until she says it to me after, I had totally forgotten that Carmen had found it and like showed it to me when we were both at an orientation at a bar. And I was like, yeah, that's me. But don't listen to it yet because, I don't know if I want people from work to hear it. So she sent me an email and she said that I could blow up her spot if I wanted to. And she said that I'm listening to your most recent episode and cracking up, lest you get the mistaken impression that I'm one of those work-related people who don't need to listen. I worked in a sex shop between high school and college, so that segment was particularly salient. I was like,
amazing,
awesome. I feel so much better now. And
honestly, ever since I watched Amelie when I was in high school, I like sort of fantasized about working in a sex shop. And she just totally killed it with saying that she actually did. And there's a part of me that's like, God,
killed it in the good way.
Oh,
Yeah,
totally.
yeah.
Yes. I mean, killed it. Again, like in French, they call an orgasm a little death. So she really killed it for me.
Oh, that's great.
That is good to know. I forgot about that, the little death thing. But yeah, so now I don't know. Is this a trend? Because all of a sudden, I've got two people that I work with that, I work with, not in my office, but that I work with, who are listening. So, ooh. Oh boy. Yeah, anyway, so now that I've gotten over that bit of awesomeness. But you guys would like her. She's She's super fun. She's one of us.
She had me at work at a sex shop. Like, yeah, I would definitely like her.
All right, cool. Anyways, I watched Russian Doll this weekend, and it's amazing, and I want to rewatch it over and over again.
Yes.
It's so good.
That's within theme of the show to watch it over and over again.
Yeah.
I
mean, I guess I did watch the same scene over and over again a lot of times. But okay, I don't want to spoil it, but we are definitely going to have to take a segment, like take some time and talk about it, whether we do a show dedicated to it, like a one-off, or we just do like a part of our show or something. But yeah, I totally want to talk about it, and I love it. And I didn't realize Amy Poehler was a co-creator with Natasha Lyonne.
Yeah.
Which makes it even more awesome.
I would love to do like a little segment on it, and I would love, or like or a standalone, but it would be really awesome to have listener feedback. And I know that Matt obviously has some thoughts on it because he was the one who encouraged us all to watch it.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about Russian Doll real quick. I just want to give everybody a heads up. We're going to be a little spoilery probably, but we are definitely planning on doing a Russian Doll centric either segment or episode in the near future. So please watch it and then send in your feedback to us, thebroadcasterstudio@gmail.com or 331-276-2373, and maybe we'll do that sometime in the next couple of weeks. So skip ahead now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the ad break in right after we're done talking about it. So skip ahead until you hear that ad, and then you can come back in and be spoiler-free for the rest of the show. Okay. Spoilers begin now. So to start off small, I figure, it's the end of season 1. My question is, why her? Why was that happening? Like, why was she in that? Why them
and not 2 other people?
Yeah.
Or maybe there are 2 other people and it's just their story happens to feature this coupling.
Yeah. So that's why I want to know. I can't wait to see if we explore more of that in season 2, or if there is even a season 2. I hope that there
is a season 2.
Are there 3 seasons?
I had read somewhere that they had originally conceived it to be 3 seasons.
See, honestly, I don't even know how you go beyond the 1 season. That's my question.
I agree, because I felt like it was a very satisfying season finale. Like, it felt like the story felt complete to me. Like, I felt like I had been on a ride with them and was ready to move on to whatever the next thing is. So I'm with you. I'm curious to see what a season 2 would look like. Would it be the same characters? Would it be different characters?
I hope it's the same
where do they go?
Yeah. I kind of hope it's the same characters because I really love them.
So breaking news. I just noticed that Matt actually just did send us in feedback for Russian Doll.
Oh, okay. Well, let's just go to it.
I can read it if you would like.
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm on it. Okay, so Matt says, "Hey, Broads. Now that we've all seen Russian Doll, I can't wait until Broadsday to hear your thoughts."
I loved
it. Yes, I love Broadsday. I thought you said you were unveiling something 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, dude, what happened?
Just saying. You can't, I feel like that's teasing. Not nice. Okay. So Matt says, "As you know, I loved it. Watched it in 2 parts, 5 episodes on Groundhog Day, appropriately, and 3 the next day." Did it come out on Groundhog Day?
I believe.
Yes.
Day? Or that weekend? I feel like they usually release on Fridays.
Okay.
Because people are more likely to binge over a weekend.
Oh, that's smart. And that's also just really kind of a funny thing to release on Groundhog Day.
Well, Groundhog Day was the Saturday, so anyway.
So the first, maybe?
Yeah, they did it on the first. Anyway, regardless. Okay, sorry.
So Matt says, "It was the rare Netflix show that not only didn't go on too long, but left me wanting more when it was over. I've always liked Natasha Lyonne. Going back to American Pie, yes."
That's right.
Double click your mouse. Come on. And was certainly glad she made her comeback after a really rough decade. She's great on Orange is the New Black, but Russian Doll reveals she's even more talented. Her direction in the finale, with its great use of split screens to establish a big twist in the already twisted timeline, was a great culmination for the series.
Agreed.
Yes.
Of course, we've seen some time loops before, Groundhog Day most famously, but Russian Doll's use works because it reinforces a lot of what's going on in the story. So much of it is about being stuck in a moment and how harmful that inertia is, like having Nadia and Alan's world disappear more with each iteration. It could have been plenty of fun with just Nadia trying to figure out her own predicament, but the addition of Alan kicks the story into a high gear. Agreed. Ultimately, making the story about two people brings home the show's theme of the importance of helping each other and how that helps us through our own pain. It's like that moment near the end of the series where Nadia talks Alan out of suicide. She can't promise him he'll be happy, just that he won't be alone. This world is a mess, but we're in it together, and we owe it to each other to help each other out as best we can. Russian Doll could be a really solid companion piece to a show I've recommended, Fleabag, which explores similar themes with a similar train wreck of a lead character. Russian Doll is a strong contender for my best of the year, although we're only in the first sixth of the year. Damn.
Oh my God, that's true.
I wonder if they could do another season with these characters or go the anthology route, but regardless, I can't wait to see what Leon and her collaborators do next. Matt, aka Broad number 6.
It's almost like we just talked about those things. Great minds, great minds.
Yep, mind meld.
Yeah, so I don't know if I think I just want to keep it with the same characters because I love the characters.
Yes. No, I totally agree with Matt. Like, American Pie, it's like on a rewatch now, present day. It is so fucking problematic. But her character remains like the one person who's just awesome.
It was kind of problematic when it came out, too.
It probably was problematic when it came out, but my experience of being a high school student and going and seeing it in the theaters was like, I thought it was hilarious.
I did too.
I was totally there for it. I thought it was great. Oh my God.
I'm one of the few people that like all 3 of the American Pie movies. Even though,
I don't know if I've seen all 3.
Will they get married in the last one?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I saw that one.
I've seen the first 2, but I don't know if I've seen the all 3, but like now, and I think I talked about this on the show before, like American Pie came on one time and Frank like wanted to switch to something else. And I was like, no, American Pie, we have to, oh my God. And like watching it now, I was just like,
ew.
This is so sexist. This is like super date rapey. Oh my God, this is terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. But
well, that's why we grow.
That's why we grow.
That's why we grow up.
But her character, Leon's character in that is awesome. She's all about just like, you know, like the importance of the female orgasm, pleasing women, masturbation, just like being cool. She's awesome.
She always plays those cool character parts, though.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Well, it's like I did like a deep dive after watching the series into the like creation of it, and Natasha Lyonne and a lot of the like press interviews she's done is sort of the impetus for the whole thing was that Amy Poehler like called her up 7 years ago and wanted to like develop this story with like, you know, based a little on like Natasha Lyonne's like real life like struggle with like drugs and addiction and stuff, but like she was like, you're the oldest person the oldest girl I know, with just like the fact that even in American Pie, like she always just felt so mature, so much older and advanced and like beyond everybody else. And I think that's always repeated in all the characters she plays. Yeah. So it's like when you see them then put into the main character in Russian Doll, it's kind of like all this huge build up to like, oh yeah, like that's to see it all come to roost is just like so great to watch. And apparently they had developed this. It started as like a sitcom that NBC passed on.
Oh.
So it's like I would have loved to seen what that script was, because to see what it eventually came to, it sounds like it's so much richer and layered and deeper and weirder and just like stuff you could only do on a streaming platform like Netflix.
Yeah.
Totally.
Wow.
But yeah. Like, and I don't know. I don't think I want the 2 characters to be like the main things in the next season. Like, I feel like it will kind of taint how perfect I thought this first season was. Right. I'd almost like to see them pull back and be like, maybe like
anthology it up.
No, I'd like to see them still present, but maybe they become like sub characters within like the world in the kind of the same way that like the homeless guy kept creeping up, because I feel like he has something important to play within the universe, and like the way the time was repeating and how he was always sort of there.
Yes.
So I feel like there's more to explore there, and I'd rather like see some other background characters move to the front.
I like that, but I just love Natasha Lyonne so much that like I don't want to envision anything without her being like the main focus. But yeah.
I'd also like to see her as a director more, because the episodes that she directed were so freaking good. I'd love to watch her like blow up as this like amazeball female director.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's put a pin in this now. And we will do in the next couple of weeks, so send your feedback in now, and over the next couple of weeks I'm going to do a rewatch, and we could do a either Russian Doll special one-off episode or a segment within our episode. Let's do that. Everybody keep their thoughts in their heads, and we'll do that then. Yes. All right, and now for all of you who just got through all of that, let's, I guess, stop for our ad break right here, and we'll come back and we'll talk about Purl. So we're back from our ad break.
Hey,
that was a great 5 seconds of silence on our end.
Just to make it easier for you to edit. Nice, clean place to edit from.
Exactly. Moving into the feedback portion of the evening, let's start out by talking about Purl, the short film that Fallon emailed us about last week. We've all watched it, and I'll put the link in the show notes as well. And this actually, it's a short film, so I don't think it's going to be super spoily what we talk about.
Okay. So this was an article from Upworthy. Purl, written, directed by Kristen Lester and produced by Gillian Libert Duncan. So two ladies follow a pink ball of yarn on her first day of work at BRO Capital. The titular character starts her day out optimistic and eager to do her best, but is quickly worn down by her inability to fit in with the all-male office culture. Purl finds herself with doors literally slammed in her face and is forced to conform to the norm and lose her femininity in order to succeed at her job. It's a story all too familiar for many women in the workforce. Purl is much more adult than Pixar's normal fare. The film contains a few slightly off-color office jokes and language not appropriate for children or offices for that matter. I don't know. I didn't find it like so overt.
I didn't. Yeah.
Yeah. I think offices are fine. Maybe very young children. But
I think it depends on the office.
Fair.
Definitely not okay at mine.
That would have been totally okay at mine, but.
But basically, it boils down to gender diversity in the workplace. Indeed, is a happy ending.
That's what she said.
The article goes on to talk about how the film comes from a personal place where the writer-director says it's based off of my experience being in animation. My first job, I was like the only woman in the room. And so in order to do the things that I loved, I sort of became one of the guys. And then I came to Pixar and I started to work on teams with women for the first time. And that actually made me realize how much of the female aspect of myself I'd sort of buried and left behind. And they go to give a couple other examples. Pixar's Spark Shorts is a more experimental venture of the studio. The Spark Shorts program is designed to discover new storytellers, explore new storytelling techniques, and experiments with new production workflows. That sounds really cool.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And then it goes on to list a few other films that you can see that are part of this Spark Shorts collective.
So
very cool.
What'd you guys think of the film?
I loved it. And actually, Frank had an assignment where he had to talk about something. I can't remember what the context of it was, but he basically wanted to talk about like toxic masculinity, and he needed to find something in pop culture that was an example. And he had thought of the Gillette razor ad. And I was like, yes, take that and also add this. And he was like super stoked about it. He loved it. But awesome. I thought it was really cute. Like little ball of yarn, like the actual animation part of it was really cute. I liked how she like literally just like crocheted herself into something else.
She stitched herself up.
Yes, she did. I liked the sewing jokes. I thought that was really cute.
I like the sewing jokes too.
I loved that it was BRO company or whatever. Yeah, no, it was good.
What does BRO stand for?
Bro.
Oh, bro.
Bro.
Oh, bro. I just got that.
Yeah, no, I liked the choice of making the heroine a ball of yarn.
Yes.
Because I think there's just a lot of metaphor in that.
Yes.
That yarn is kind of malleable and it can bend and form and be molded into different shapes and structures. Yeah, I think I overall liked it. I mean, it's a short film, so it can't accomplish too much, and it's meant to be kind of lighter and fair, but I was a little bummed that it just immediately cuts to like everything is fine now.
Well, I think it's supposed to be an allegory for how how she had to adapt their culture to fit in, and I think that was just showing that once she became one of the guys, they accepted her like that, versus they didn't accept her very quickly when she.
No,
was...
I mean from the end that like she's kind to the second yarn and kind of learns that like becoming one of the guys isn't all it's cracked up to be, and then it's just like great happy ending.
Well, and I think
it is a Pixar short.
That's
so
the part where like
had to be a little happy ending-ish.
I mean, I'm definitely willing to forgive them that because it's 8 minutes.
Exactly.
And I think like what the real work of what would happen in that is obviously like would take longer and would be more involved. And it's not just hiring a second, like they had their token woman. It's not just hiring like a second token woman that everything's going to be fixed. But I think we can sort of like understand that like this is once you've like sort of started down that path, like we can sort of fill in the blanks of like, okay, well they hired a second. And then it was, I was going to say a snowball, or if you will, a ball of yarn effect.
Yes.
Yes. Then, the whole.
I took it to kind of mean that all it takes is one person to stand up for what is right to start to enact the change. And it was teaching the little kids that were watching it in the theater, presumably, they too can be the change and they don't have to conform to the bad culture in the office.
No, I agree, and I know it's just a short film, but I don't know. I feel like it could have gone an inch further, perhaps.
So I work in an office with all women, so I feel like I'm somewhat removed from a lot of these like toxic cultures. I'm 6 years. I've been there 7 years. 7 years removed from that kind of thing, and I'm very fortunate. Throughout the last 3 seasons of our show, we've put out the call to our listeners, and everybody has always responded. They've really stepped up to the task at hand. Like we asked people for stories about when they lost their virginity, or we asked people for what were some of the other stories? Like we've had some great themes, like emails that have come to the show, and I kind of want to hear any examples that people might have out there of being in a toxic or a work environment like Purl, the bird, the ball of yarn. I almost said barn of y'all, but that wasn't it.
The barn of y'all.
The barn of y'all. That Purl, the ball of yarn, experienced is. So if you have any experience, we would love to hear about it. The broadcasters3@gmail.com or 331-276-2373. I don't know if you guys have noticed over the last couple of years, but feminism stories and toxic masculinity is kind of like our bread and butter.
A little bit, yeah. I will say, like, I feel very fortunate to work in an environment where not only is most of my leadership is women, and I work with a lot of women. I also work with men, but like that stuff is definitely in check. Like I said, like the office jokes in Purl, like that would not fly at my workplace. So like it's definitely like I do not work in that environment, but I can think back to, for example, my very first job when I was 15 years old and working at a fast food restaurant in Missoula, Montana. Like literally colloquially, what my position was called was a drink bitch.
What?
Yeah, and like at the time, again, like this is like I had all of my feminist rage, but I think like certain things were still, I was like too young. So like I didn't really, like I used that term because it's almost, you are assimilating and you're sort of like fitting in with these guys, and all of them, like the dudes would be the cooks and the like prep people, and then the women would be the quote unquote drink bitches, but basically the cashiers who would also do drinks, and then the car hops, because this was a place where we had car hops. So they're like basically like the servers. So the way that the work was divided was very much like by gender. But then again, like the terminology was just super not okay. And that's just like what we all said. And it was like, yeah, you're fitting in, you're like assimilating with the dude bros who are sort of running the place.
Right. And this was also a time when you thought American Pie was super funny. So don't
right. Taking it all in stride and
exactly. Yeah. I did give them hell for using gay as like a synonym of like lame.
Yeah.
But like I wasn't quite there yet in all of she's the drink bitch. Like, why is that okay? That's not okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all I have to say about that.
All right. Well, let's.
No, because as we were talking, I was like, I really have no work experience that falls into all these things that we talk about. And then the more I thought about it, I was like, oh, actually, I do. Actually, I think if we all dig deep enough, like it's there for sure. Well, even if we're hopefully lucky enough not to work in a toxic environment like that right now, like it's probably in the past somewhere.
So that actually kind of reminds me, back on our episode, season 1, episode 15, Martinis and Fritos. It was October 2016, and it was right after the Grab Her by the Pussy tape came out, and we talked about the societal repercussions, and we also talked about, remember that hashtag, it was like, I've met Trump, and we talked about different ways that we had experienced similar things, not necessarily being grabbed, but we did talk about this, and I think at the time, maybe I had said, this I can't remember, but one of us or two of us or whoever had said that it had taken a minute to sit and think, because a lot of times women will say, that's never happened to me, but when you actually start to think about it and you point out examples, a lot more people have had unwanted experiences, whether they process it differently or didn't realize it was happening to them because they've been ingrained by society. So I want that kind of what, that's okay. That what you just said about the not being able to think of a workplace experience off the top of your head, and then, once you actually thought about it, like, oh, yes, this has happened, and it's probably happened in other ways, too, that I wonder if more women have had bad workplace experiences, or not bad workplace experiences, but just
inappropriate workplace experience.
Just workplace experiences where they were treated differently because they were not one of the guys, or because they're a woman, or something like that. I don't know. Food for thought.
Send us your stories.
We love stories.
We do.
I got 2 work friends listening now, and I want to show off all of my podcast friends to my work friends. So make me proud, guys. Also, I mean, if you want to throw in your virginity stories again, I mean, those are pretty great too. So
it's true. We might have new listeners since then. Fresh batch.
Yes, they literally never get old.
They never do.
We always want to know how you lost your V card. Please tell us. And if you haven't, please tell us too.
Yeah, please. All right, moving on. That's right. There are 4 new episodes of In the Dark coming out for season 2, and it's coming out on March 19th, and it's going to cover the Curtis Flowers trial in front of the Supreme Court, and I'm really stupid excited for this. Like, I'm fucking excited.
That was like perfect timing this morning as I opened my app for my podcast app.
I know. I
saw that there was something from them.
I know.
Same. I almost got confused. I was like, how did this happen? Oh, it's new. It is new.
Oh my God, I know. I'm so excited. So yay.
Yes, and Brian, our favorite DP specialist, posted about it as well.
Yeah. we're gonna have to listen to all 4, and then we'll have to have Brian come back, and we could talk about it
Definitely.
again. Yay!
Any day, any excuse to have Brian back on the show.
Totally.
Yes. And the last show that Brian was on, as Shandy just referenced, was titled Our Favorite DP Specialist. And, oh gosh, now I don't know how far. I don't know when that was. But that was about 2 months ago, maybe? I don't know.
That's about right. I think it was this year.
It was this year. It was like in October or something like that.
Oh, I meant like 2019 this
Oh,
year. Is my time all sorts of off?
We're like fiscal year.
I'm like, wait, what year?
Broadcast season, broadcast years. We're now going by our own calendar year.
Yeah.
The year of the broad.
That's right.
I like it.
This year, meaning 2019, and I totally did not get that. No, it was 2018, and it, right?
I don't know.
totally
Don't tell
2018.
me.
I think it was before Christmas, definitely.
It was definitely before Christmas. Again, this is fantastic podcasting.
No, October sounds
Anyway,
just about on the money.
if you just keep scrolling back through our feed, you will find it eventually.
Mm-hmm.
We've given you a lot of contextual clues.
I'm looking it up right now.
Just Google Broads plus DP. It's the only thing that Google will give you.
I hope.
It was
And if they
November
give us
30th.
something else, please send us an email and tell us what it is. Because I
No,
think that would
please
be
don't.
great conversation.
Okay.
It might give you a Wikipedia page.
Oh my God, it might. And then please send us the picture. We don't care about the page. We just want to see the picture.
On a book report.
Okay, so this was Our Favorite DP Specialist, episode 3.21. So season 3, episode 21, and it was from November 30th. So
Oh.
have listened to In the Dark
November.
since then and want to hear us talking to Brian, our favorite DP specialist,
Yes.
he can do that. And while you're there, you can go back to episode 319 from November 15th, and that's when we discover the dirty pictures on the Wikipedia pages.
Bringing it all together.
Great
Bringing it all
episodes.
together. All right. Moving on to Facey back. Got said happy Broadsday at and if you want to be a part of the Facebook group, it's facebook.com/groups/Jay and Jack group, and you can request to be a part of that. Or if you support us at $5 or more per month as a patron, you can go into the patrons Facebook group and catch some of the feedback that comes from there and discuss. Okay, there we go. Dot says, happy Broadsday at 8:28 p.m. I'm sorry, I got the show out super, super late on Friday. It was a busy day. And then, because I was doing that thing where, wouldn't refresh, and I, clicked on something 15 times. So, yeah, see, it all comes full circle. So, that's what I was doing instead of posting the show. And then Matt said Broadsday is more of a state of mind. So, he's in a Broadsday state of mind.
I like it.
Matt says more like Oregon Town. What was that from?
I have no idea.
Okay,
I'm not sure.
We're just going to skip it. We're going to keep going. And then JP wrote in all capital letters, I am officially converted. This way is much better. So we have converted JP to an all caps person. Although Dennis said that he actually always writes in all caps, and he always has.
And
I think there are dozens of them.
there
It's entirely possible.
given Dennis's last name, I have to say I was surprised.
We're just going to let that joke hang there for anyone who knows Dennis's last name. That's pretty funny. Whew, okay. Sorry. Okay, so Ed actually wrote in and said that he was catching up on the broadcast and asked when he was asked what he is called. So in case anybody doesn't know, Ed is one of our star patrons, and we always thank him every week as Ed the Creepy Mailman. And then it was pointed out that perhaps we should call him a letter carrier. So the question came up a few weeks ago as to what Ed should be called. Should he be the mailman or the letter carrier? Well, there was a shooting downtown Hollister a couple years ago. They interviewed me, and yes, this is how my name appeared on the video. And no, it is not creepy that I was standing in front of a massage place. So she posted a picture in, I think it was the patrons Facebook group maybe, and it was a screen cap of him being interviewed, and it calls him Ed the Mailman, and he is in front of the Paloma Spa and Massage Parlor.
Yes. And in case anyone's wondering, no one was hurt in the shooting.
Yes.
I feel like that's an important...
Nobody was hurt in the shooting, just like no bears were harmed in the apartment break-in. Oh, all right. And then finishing up this section with our hashtag Matt's What She Said. I realized, because I've started to listen to this like from the perspective of somebody listening for the first time. So I feel like maybe once in a while I should explain our repeating segments. In case this one's not self-explanatory, Matt listens to our episodes from the previous week, and he will tell us all of the sexual innuendos that we inadvertently said, and then we read it and we laugh about it because we're really funny like that. Okay.
All right, I guess I'll start. That's also what she said. With Philia.
I can't keep them all straight. Oh, well, that's just true.
I don't know why it took us so long to get there.
I wish we always had this.
Let's see if we can get to 60.
It's smart. Less cleanup for you. It's easier. Just hose them down.
It was a big move. Dig, woman!
I'm going to do it again. How about now?
Sex education is so fucking good.
And we still haven't talked about it, just saying.
I watched the first episode. I'm into it.
Just the tip.
Just the tip.
I watched Russian Doll. Give me another week.
Okay. It's going to be longer, but so good.
I often do your way.
I feel like you didn't say that with enough anger.
It was more defeated. I often do it your way.
Jay was rewatching the dinner party episode of The Office tonight. Have you guys have seen that, right?
Yes, it's quite good.
I know, it's so amazing, and it really 10 years later, it's still just as freaking funny. But when Michael's getting mad at Jan, and he's like about everything that they do that she decides, and that's how I imagine you reading it. He's like, when I wanted to see this Broadway show and you wanted to see that one, what did we see? And we saw what she wanted to see, and then it comes down to the snip snap snip snap. Do you have any idea of the physical toll that 3 vasectomies can have on a man? Anyway, sorry. I pictured you Michael Scotting that one, Amanda.
Okay. Well, if you think you can give a better delivery, have at it.
I can't. Sorry, I didn't mean to make you feel bad.
No, you're good.
I'm an asshole. I personally sometimes do it, sometimes don't.
We do things Friday. We do things all day Saturday. We do things all day Sunday. Most people leave on Monday. Looking forward to that.
Mm-hmm. I can give it to them.
I need it, Matt.
We just want one.
Not top 10, Matt.
She said with a disapproving tone. We're starting to field ourselves a soccer team.
I've been pulling things aside.
I'm putting it out there because it's one of my favorites.
Going down it real hard. All right.
Never disappoint, Matt. They never disappoint.
They never do. All right, now it's time we've got Butter She-Mails. The first one is from JB. Who wants it?
I can take it.
Okay, cool.
All right, so the subject of JP's email is questions. That's what she said. Just in time for the latest episode of the broadcast, I have heard the cry from our fans for more random questions. Our fans. I like that, JP. Those fans stomping their feet hard against the floor for this moment, which was missing from the show. Actually, I saw Colleen's Facebook post and was bored at work.
Woohoo!
JP.
Like
yeah. JP from the Better Not Try to Mail Holiday Cards Here state.
Get your bear spray next time, Colleen.
I know. Nobody's
and don't get out of the car. Just don't get out of the car for anyone.
Nobody's trying to kidnap me next time. Not when I get my bear spray.
No. Okay, so question number 1. What regularly misspelled word or misused phrase really burns your britches? For example, I always say supposedly instead of supposedly.
Oh my God, JP.
I was going to say that, actually, until I read that next sentence, because that does bother me.
Are we answering these one by one? Because I have one right now.
Yeah, let's do it one by one.
Okay. People, for whatever reason, can't spell definitely. They consistently spell it defiantly. And I'm like, these are 2 different words.
Yes, I don't understand why people can't spell definitely.
Guys, I can't spell definitely.
DEFINITELY.
It's like finite. You have the word finite in it. Definitely.
To be fair, I am dyslexic, so I have an excuse. My brain physically can't do it.
That's true.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, phonics, man.
But there's a whole lot of people that don't have an excuse.
Yep, those people suck.
This will please Dan, not that he listens to our podcast anymore, Dan. But it does really annoy me when people do the wrong, like, your or their.
Ugh, I know.
Like, I specifically remember in elementary school learning those things. And I kind of can't understand how anyone could not know them. But then I reflect upon, the state of public education. And then I understand. And then I feel kind of like a dick for being elitist. But also, like, fuck, just, like, sort that one out. Come on.
I have one.
Yes.
When people say next store instead of next door.
Next door.
Like
I'm going to go next door.
STORE instead of next door. And I see it frequently that people will say next door, and I'm like, you're not going to the next store, you're going to the house next to you, the next door. Like, it's the next door to you. There's a website.
Had not heard that one.
Really? I have come across that a couple of times and been like, yeah.
Very interesting.
Now see, this one's hard for me because I feel like I can't judge because I feel like I say a lot of things wrong. Like, for the longest time, I didn't know it was par for the course.
Oh, what did you think it was?
I think I used to say part for the course, power for the course. I say power for the course.
Power for the course. I like it.
Till it was brought to my attention. That's not how the saying goes, and people might think you're dumb. Which, I mean, they do anyway. So, I mean, really.
Amanda, stop being so hard on yourself. You're always so hard on yourself. And you are one of the smartest, most articulate people that I know. Anytime you ever say your opinion on here, it always makes me feel ashamed that I can't express myself the way that you speak.
Oh, shush.
It's true, though.
Psst.
Women bringing up women.
Yeah.
I'll raise you up. Oh, and there was another one that, there was a really good one that I really just struggle with. Oh, is it coming down the pipe or coming down the pike? Because I often say pipe, and I think that is wrong.
I think it's pike. I actually listened to, what podcast was this on? There was it was probably on The Illusionist, which is a podcast about language. So if anyone is a language nerd, it's really, really interesting. I highly recommend it. And I think it was on that podcast that they mentioned, like, expressions that have kind of, are like weird, and what the historical reasoning and background is for them, and then how things have morphed and changed over time, and how things like what you just said, like, give it another 50 to 100 years, and people might be saying coming down the pipe.
Because here's my theory. Things do travel down a pipe.
They absolutely do.
Water?
Honestly, so Dennis and, wasn't this a discussion between, like, Dennis and Nick and somebody else, whether it was dog in the fight or dog in the race or dog in the something else?
I have no horse in the race. I have no dog in the fight. No.
So... Yeah, so
I have no horse in the race. I definitely don't have a horse in the race.
Yeah. So
I've never heard of the saying before.
Okay, we determined that it must be a regional thing, the way that certain phrases come about.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I get it. I don't have a horse in the race.
Yeah.
So I'm
Here it is.
Googling this,
Here it is,
and
here
I
it is.
literally, I type dog, and the first suggestion that comes up is dogs before dudes.
Oh. I mean, arguably true.
So Dennis had said, I don't have a dog in the race. Up north, we say, I don't have a dog in that fight. And I think that I had always heard dog in that fight too. But now that you're pointing out horse in the race, dog in the fight, I think maybe Nick just got it wrong and didn't want to admit it. And then he said that dog in the hunt is a more common phrase in the South.
No. I definitely get more Google stuff on dog in the fight. And I'm definitely going to hold my ground, if I will, with my bear spray on horse in the race.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, definitely horse in the race. Okay, anyway, so
or horse and pony show. I often say
dog and pony show.
Dog and pony show. Yeah.
I do too.
No, it is dog and pony show.
Yeah.
Okay. So see, that's what I was saying.
See,
and I got
you're smarter than you think.
And then started saying horse and pony show. Because I don't know, it's like the big animal and the little version of the animal.
Yeah. No, I get that. But and this is to answer JP's question also, like, as much as I'm all about like get the right, like there, which, whatever, get that spelling right, get that grammar right. At the same time, it really bothers me when people are sticklers for old rules and don't accept that, like, if people are saying it, that means that it's correct, because like language always changes. And so whatever the people who are speaking that language start saying, if a bunch of people are talking about someday about a horse in the fight or a dog in the race, then it becomes correct, because that's what people like. Language is like something that you use. So having that like super like prescriptive definition of what it needs to be also bothers me, even though I am kind of purist on some things. But
yeah, no, I would agree with that, because I feel like oftentimes I intentionally mix up a phrase or something just to like get a reaction or to spin it on its head a little bit. Like a lot of times at work, I'll say, like just to make sure, we're T dotting and I crossing. And I know I'm saying it wrong and I'm doing it on purpose because I want to like catch your attention. I want to make you laugh a little bit instead of being like, hey, a-holes, make sure everything's buttoned up and correct.
Right. Yeah. All right. I think we need to move on.
Yeah. Next question. I hope we've answered that to your standards, JP. Question number 2. If you could apply a do-over to one instance in your life, i.e., that's another one I do wrong all the time. I.E. Anyway, turn left.
What do you do? EI?
Sometimes I do capital I, capital E.
That's fine. I feel
That's fine.
Is that still acceptable?
Yeah.
That works for me, whatever.
I.e., turn left this time instead of right. What would that moment be, and how do you think it would change you? Oh, this is one I wish I had prepared beforehand.
I know.
This is what I'm talking about.
This is tough.
It's really hard. You change one thing, you change everything. Like, can you, there are things, like, I've thought about this before too, because there are things that like stress me out in life now that I'm like, if I would have made different decisions when I was 17 or 18, I wouldn't necessarily have this particular stressor, but the entire rest of my life would be different. Yeah. So like,
this is.
Do you change that? Do you go back and change that? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Team Universe, baby.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, there's things that I definitely wish that I hadn't said, or that, caused more trouble than I intended, or, certain actions that I wish that I had or hadn't done in general, but nothing I can think of off the top of my head, A, would be too personal to share, and B, I don't know if I would want to really change anything other than, maybe going back like 10 minutes and not telling Amanda that she should have Michael Scott delivered that, because it probably made her feel bad. So maybe little things like that. But
good real world example.
Thanks.
No, I like that. But I will say, like, just overall, also, I'm not really a person of regrets. And that doesn't mean that I like never like feel like I shouldn't have done something, but like I'm very much like my mindset is everything that I do I learn from, and like even the things that, again, just like Colleen are maybe too personal to share, where I'm like, wow, like I kind of was a dick, or I kind of like hurt somebody, or I kind of, like maybe that wasn't the best way to handle that situation. Like I learned from it for the Shandy of today. So like, would I want to take that away because then would I learn it, or like?
Yeah, I mean, I have
I'm good.
Point. That's great.
I have a lot of anxiety, so I kind of tend to dwell on all of those kind of things. But, what can you do?
Right. I think the fact that I can't think of one is probably like pretty telling, because I obsess about every decision I make.
Yeah. All right. And number 3. If anybody wants to write in and give us their examples, that might satisfy JP. He's tough to satisfy. Broadcasters3@gmail.com.
That's true. Oh, well, here's a little one. I guess this isn't really like, I think, to answer JP's question, but just to give him something, because we really didn't answer it. I often think about, so when Colleen and I were in college, I got asked to produce the Rocky Horror Show, and I really wanted to audition because I really wanted to be in the show. And I often wonder, like, what would have happened if I turned it down and auditioned to be in the show instead.
Oh.
But you produced the shit out of that show.
Exactly. And like, it was one of the best experiences of my college years. It did kind of like fun. Put me on a trajectory of like what I now do as a career, but
it was so much fun.
Yeah.
That was like the best. That's, I think, the most fun I ever had doing a show. That show is in my list of my top 10 Broadway shows that I made last week that we'll probably talk about next week now. But
oh, right. I forgot to make my list, but I was thinking about it.
Yeah.
So, yes, let's please put that off a week, because I definitely want to give it more thought.
Oh, yeah, we're totally going to put it off a week.
Okay. Question number 3. Pick one moment in history you wish you could actually witness in person, and why?
JP.
I want to know who shot JFK!
I mean, Pompeii. Be nice to see what actually happened.
Roswell. I want to know if there really are aliens. I swear to God, I do.
Oh, one moment in history. What about like the Big Bang?
That might be too much for me. I don't know. I don't think I could handle that truth.
Have we mentioned the anxiety?
I think that's a little too real. That's a little too much.
I don't know. I kind of want to go back to like when my parents and my grandparents met and witness that moment in history, like on a more smaller scale.
That's cool.
Yeah, I feel like, because like when you think about history, it's so much that it kind of has to come back almost to like something that means more to you personally. Like,
right. Like, do I want to go the big moment and the big mystery to find out what happened? Or do I want to go like Back to the Future style moment?
Yeah. Like, do I just want to maybe go back and like meet my dad? That could be cool.
Yeah.
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 Well, because I often think like when I want to go back in history, it's more because I just want to kind of see what it was like. Not that I want to experience one specific moment. It's like, oh, it'd be cool to go back to the 20s and see what it'd be like to like go into a speakeasy, or like, oh, it'd be cool to like go back to the Revolutionary War and just like see what America was like at that point when it was like trying to figure its shit out.
Yeah.
But like,
talk about this when you went to some kind of theme night or something. Well, that's what we talked about, if we want to live in any other time than today. And Shannon and I were both like, nope.
Nope.
And I'm curious. I'm just curious. I think I just want to be like a history tourist.
And that's fine if you can just like kind of like observe, but if you have to also be, I don't know, succumb to like the treatment of the time, it's just like, as women, like, do we really want to go back? No. They're trying to do that right now, and it's not fun. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, JP. If anybody wants to contribute, comment on the Facebook page, or send us the feedbacks through all the usual methods. All right, and then I think we are going to finish this puppy up with a This Week in Andy's Virginity, which, if you are a newer listener, the title is fairly self-explanatory.
All right, so Andy says, "Hey, Broads."
And every week, Shandy does Andy. Okay,
that's right.
Hashtag I'm in hers.
Another quiet Valentine's Day has come and gone, and still no news. I hope you're right that spring will change things up for me, because I really want to give you an actual update, not just an I ate some sweet Pop-Tart hearts and watch Netflix by myself. I guess it's to be expected since I'm not actively looking. While meeting a certain someone can happen at any time, when it doesn't happen time and time again, it's hard not to get discouraged. Winter tends to be a bummer anyway with the dark and cold, and it would be nice to have someone to spend these gloomy days with. I don't know if you've heard this, but they call this time of year cuffing season. I know being with someone won't solve my problems, but I would like to start to make that kind of connection with someone. Sorry to be a bit of a downer this week, but I know deep down this is just a mood I'm in right now. I'll just weather it because winter doesn't last forever. Spring will be here before we know it. Hashtag I'm with hers, Andy.
That's true. It doesn't last forever.
It does not.
It's a cycle.
Yep. Amanda and I don't know if we, I don't know, Amanda, if we talked about this on air, how we both kind of were in those like winter funks lately.
No, I don't think we did. But yeah, no, I had a really rough couple of weeks. Gosh, probably as early as like 2 weeks ago. So Andy, I totally feel you. And being in a relationship doesn't make those feelings go away. Spoiler alert.
It doesn't.
But
it doesn't.
Yeah, so they really are work that you have to do on your own and continue to do on your own even when you're part of a couple. That's just part of that journey of self-discovery, I think. But I think that being said, we certainly not only we don't sympathize, we empathize with how you feel. We really we get it, and it's not easy at all.
Yeah, I was definitely in a bit of a funk. I had a bad week just with feeling like that, and it was the week that we recorded the Real Weird Sister crossover, and I was I feel like I was quiet and not as much myself during that episode because I had a week. I don't know, like I was out of it, and everything seemed foggy, and like I would talk to people and I would have like awkward responses back because like my brain just felt like it was shut off and mushy, and like I don't know, by the end of the week, you know, Jay was like trying to pep talk me out and be like, maybe you should see your therapist again on Monday, you know, think about it. And then, you know, thankfully I kind of snapped out of it. And like almost immediately the next morning, I saw a car accident, actually. I don't think we didn't talk about it on here. I saw a car accident in front of me, and there was a kid in the car, and everybody was okay, but, like, I saw it about to happen. I saw it happen. Like, I heard it. I smelt it. It was, you know, I pulled over the side of the road and bawled my eyes out once I saw that everybody was okay. And for some reason, that event, like, triggered in me, like, sort of, you know, remind myself, like, I'm lucky and I'm here and I need to, you know, be alive and in the moment. And I definitely kind of by the next morning had sort of snapped out of it. And it's funny because that doesn't happen all the time. But it is really funny the way that it changes so quickly when it's, I don't know if it's brain chemistry thing or body chemistry thing or weather thing or what, because I think we also had nice weather the next day. But it's because, again, that it hasn't happened to me in the past. In the past, I've gotten into funks that have lasted much longer. And I think I definitely have better, like we've talked about in the past, I have better coping mechanisms and methods now. Like I know when I'm in that funk, like I stop drinking, like, because everybody knows I like beer, but you know I cut myself off and try to not like give into it that way, and I try to exercise more because that's always a natural kind of what's the word? Not inhibitor.
High. Yeah, the endorphin rush.
Endorphin rush. Thank you. So I don't know. Maybe, and again, I don't have an easy fix for how you're feeling. I just, again, like Amanda said, it's all a cycle, and it's about self-care and figuring out some tricks that might help you. I don't recommend watching a car accident because that was actually somewhat traumatizing.
But the exercising is on point. Yeah. That's what I was going to suggest. I've been taking this boot camp class at our local gym, and it's so freaking hard, and I never thought it'd be something I would like, but it is probably the one thing in my really dark days that makes me feel the absolute best.
Yeah.
So I would suggest really challenging yourself that way. And vitamin D gummies. They taste delicious and they're really helpful.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the takeaway here before we close out the show is, Andy, you're not alone in how you feel. And anybody else that's listening out there right now, if you understand like kind of some of the stuff that Andy and Amanda and I were just kind of referencing, hope you know that you're not alone either, and you can always reach out to us privately or whatever form you want to, and we'll be happy to always chat.
Indeed.
Moving on. Okay, well,
moving on to the end of the show.
All right. Well, I think that does it for us for this week. Thank you to our patrons. If you'd like to become a patron, you can go to patreon.com/jandjack or go to jandjack.com and click on the Become a Patron link on the top right-hand corner of the website. And if you'd like to do that helps all of us out. We would really super appreciate that. We're actually restructuring a little bit of the Patreon rewards. So we are now focusing more on doing, for the $5 or more level, bonus content stuff. So we're going to have 1 or 2 bonus episodes that will be on that patrons feed. So if you are a $5 or more patron, you have the Patrons Choice feed. That actually is changing names to Patrons Bonus. I thought it was dumb too. It was Jay's thing. Amanda, we should just ask you to come up with a new name.
Okay.
But it will have all the bonus content. So we're going to have just extra stuff that I've cut out of the shows once or twice a month. Jay is going to have extra stuff from the Jay and Jack show because they actually record for like 2 hours. I know they record like us length, which if you guys know Jay, he does not like to record. He has a hard out at an hour for a podcast. So like a hard out. So
got a life to live.
Exactly. Or sleep to be had. But anyway, so that's what's going on with that. And Amanda, I heard that you listened to the Jay and Jack show with Melissa and Ellie. What did you think?
I want her to be my new best friend.
I know. Isn't she the best?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah,
no, she's super cool. She had a lot of really interesting things to say. They had a really great conversation. Mm-hmm. So if you guys haven't checked it out, I highly recommend it. It was a very good listen.
Yes, it's episode 2, Muggle Musings. So yeah, totally go back and check that out. And I think that'll be bonus content as well. Survivor with Jay, Jack, and Colleen is back for this season. We took last season off because we were so tired and needed a break from Survivor after our, having a baby experience. But we're back to record this season. And Jay does have the timer going with that one. And yeah, I think that about does it. If you'd like to shop through the Amazon affiliates link, it's janejack.com/Amazon, all lowercase letters. Put that as your Amazon homepage, and that helps us as well. And let's plug our Instagram again, because our Instagram is super awesome, and it's really
fun.
And
we have a good time there.
We do. I didn't wear my glasses this week in case a picture ends up on it. So,
well, I did take some pictures, so I can.
Oh, good. My hair is at its very biggest Julia Roberts today.
Love it.
It's very my best friend's wedding, so how about it?
Awesome. Yeah, so check us out on Instagram, the Broadcasters 3. We're doing stories. We're doing posts. I think you'll be able to figure out who is posting what by this point, but we are hashtagging it, so you'll know who is posting the actual thing in case you can't figure it out. And then Twitter, we have our Twitter feed, and that is at the Broadcast 3, because the Broadcasters 3 was too long, and Broadcasters 3 was taken by somebody that never tweeted. But
what an a-hole.
Yeah, follow us there. We haven't quite managed to really do a whole lot with that, but it's there, and we'll post things to that as well. All right. Anyway, thank you all for listening. I hope that we started the show on a downer note. We ended the show.
We ended on a downer note, but there's a lot of high in the middle. It was a good steep hill.
It was. It's just that Broadsday state of mind. Yeah. Another callback. Anyway, thanks again for listening. My name is Colleen.
My name is Amanda.
And I'm Shandy.
Peace out, guys. Don't forget to watch Russian Doll and send us your feedback.
Yes, please.
All right, bye.